Ladies, gentlemen, my fellow nurses, this is Thomas Emmett here once again as a fellow RN to talk to you about exercise. Now I know what you're thinking. What does exercise have to do with nursing? It's quite simple. Exercise has to do with everything. Now we like to talk about drugs and labs and tests and procedures and operations and surgeries, but you see, a lot of that can be prevented. A lot of that's not necessary if people would only exercise. Now we know that exercise is proven to prevent disease and treat it as well, used as therapy. But what you may not know is that the lack of exercise can also contribute to the problem here. You know, in these days people sit around, they work behind the computer, behind the cell phone, behind a desk, and they don't get up and move like they used to. So a lot of the health problems we have today is not really because of too much exercise, it's from the lack of exercise. So what I've got here, I did a little research. There's a lot of research on this. I've got one article that I found that talks about the lack of exercise as leading to a lot of problems like diabetes and heart disease and cancers and stroke and pretty much everything. Really, it can be traced back to it, and today is more than ever a time where people lack in exercise. So I've got a nice little graph I found at the bottom. I know you can't see it too well and I can't zoom in, so I'm going to take pictures of this and put it on along with the video so you can see everything better. But there's a little chart within this article that I found that if people were to step in early and exercise, it don't have to be more, but just exercise to begin with, that'll solve the issue of the lack of exercise. Now, I'm doing my part in all of this. You say, what does this have to do with nursing? It's very simple, because I'm trying to encourage people to exercise, because in these days prices are high and jobs are short and waiting times are long and the supplies are out all over the place. So we need a different plan. We need a different way of doing things. And a lot of times we have patients that are non-compliant, or they're not able to comply even if they want to, with the drugs they're supposed to take and all the tests and the labs and the doctor's appointments and everything else they have to keep up with. And this stuff costs time and it costs money, and it's just a lot of work. Now, you may not be able to relate. Maybe you don't have diabetes, maybe you don't have heart disease, so it's harder to understand unless you're really there and having to live through all these life changes. So exercise, one of the benefits of it is that it can be free and it can be done anywhere. It's just a matter of what you can do and what you like to do and what you have access to, compared to spending thousands of dollars a month for whatever drug you might need to take. Even if you just got yourself a pair of weights, or maybe had a gym membership for $20 a month, the price difference is major. And exercise often has a lot of the same benefits as drugs, if not more, plus there's no negative side effects to it. And so I'm doing my part here. One of my projects for this year is to write a book. It's in the works. I've got it planned out, at least the cover is planned out so far on the title, general idea of it, but it's called The Poor Man's Guide to Home Exercise, and this will be coming out this year on Amazon.com. This is a copy of the paperback version, my cover front and back at the moment. I'll show you the pictures, zoom in a little better if I can later so you can see it better. But don't you worry, this isn't my first book. I've written several over the years. They're all available for sale on Amazon.com. You just look me up, look up Tom Emmett, and I've got many books already done, so this isn't anything new to me. I've been doing these for years. But we're not here to talk about me or my books. We're here to talk about exercise. But they are available for sale, paperback, hardcover, ebook, on Amazon.com. So check them out. But this is where you'll find this book later on this year. Hopefully it's going to be very picture heavy. So I had this idea maybe a few months ago to do this, and so I just remembered that in the times when COVID started and the world closed and the gyms closed and everyone had to stay home, and all the people that were used to a lifetime of exercise, it was suddenly taken away from them. And then you've got people who are unhealthy and sick and they need to exercise in order to increase their health, but they're unable to because there's no place to go and you can't find any equipment and you can't buy stuff to use at the house. So the idea with this book is that I want to keep things as simple as possible, and I want to show people as much as possible how they can exercise and keep themselves healthy at home, supposing they have no equipment, whether they can't afford it or it's not in the stores, or if the gyms are closed, or you can't go places and do things anymore like you used to. Whether or not that happens again, I don't know, but it's better to be prepared, and as long as you have the knowledge and you're ready for this, then you can handle it. So my idea is that I'm just going to take pictures from my house and just show you using the least amount of equipment as possible. I want to go through cardio exercises and strength training exercises and just show people what they can do to stay healthy, so they have the knowledge that even if they have nothing at all they have is a little bit of floor space to work with, that they can stay in shape and they can keep exercising. And you don't have to depend on drugs this way. You don't have to depend on the doctors and the labs and the tests and everything. So the idea is I like to keep my books as cheap as possible because it goes along with the title, The Poor Man's Guide. I'm not saying that everybody's poor, but we're all about saving money. And when prices are going up all over all the time, my book prices don't change. I set them and I keep them, and if anything, I'll give you a discount if you buy them from me. Plus I'll throw in a free signature in case I'm famous one day. So that's the idea of this book, is to just, maybe like $10 or so I'm looking at, depends on how big it is. Something cheap, something easy to give people the knowledge and the resources they need to take care of themselves and be healthy. And so that's where I'm going. That's kind of the idea here, what I'm working with, because we know that exercise is very important for good health. If you lack in it, it's only going to get worse. And especially with the COVID and a lot of the respiratory issues, exercise will help build up your lungs and your heart again and make you stronger. And a lot of people have had lasting issues from that. But something you just got to work through and get better from. But it doesn't matter what kind of health conditions, whether you're perfectly healthy, whether you've got all sorts of issues going on. It don't matter where you're starting. The important thing is that you start somewhere, and everything that you can do will help in some way or another. And exercise, it has no side effects really, as long as you pay attention and you're careful and you know what you're doing and you don't do too much and too fast. As long as you're careful and you're safe, there's no side effects. It's not like drugs that you got to take other drugs for because you've got to deal with the side effects of it. And you save a lot of money, save a lot of time, and you don't even need a gym. That's the idea of my book here, is to try and get rid of the gym and all the fancy equipment and stuff, because you don't really need it if you know what you're doing. So that's it. That's what I'm here to talk about. I'll show you some zoomed in pictures of the poster so you can see a little bit better. But I think that's it. So hope you enjoyed my talk, and we'll see you on Amazon.